Most people spend their lives waiting for change, waiting for success, waiting for something to finally click. But here's the truth. Change doesn't happen to you, it happens because of you. If you don't take control, you'll stay exactly where you are, stuck, frustrated, watching others move ahead while you remain in the same cycle. Every successful person had a moment where they stopped tolerating mediocrity. This video is your moment. Today, I'm giving you 15 things you can do right now to completely shift your life's trajectory. These aren't theories or feel-good quotes. They are real, actionable steps that will separate you from the 99% who only wish for change. And here's the challenge. Most people won't act. They'll watch, agree, maybe even feel inspired for a moment, and then do nothing. But those who do, they change everything. Because in the end, your results aren't based on what you know, but on what you actually do. So I'd ask yourself, are you finally ready to stop waiting? Because a year from now, your life could look the same as it does today, or completely different. The choice is yours. Let's get into it. Step 1. Act on the information you already have and stop gathering more. You don't need another book, another podcast, or another deep dive on productivity. You already know what you need to do. The problem isn't the lack of knowledge, it's a lack of action. Every time you tell yourself, I just need to learn a little more before I start, you're stalling. The world doesn't reward people for knowing, it rewards people for doing. The person who reads one book on investing and puts money in the market is ahead of the person who reads 50 books and does nothing. You have enough information. Now act. Step 2. Make decisions based on who you want to be, not who you've been. If you keep acting like your past self, the one who procrastinates and avoids risk, your future won't change. You can't create a new life while clinging to an old identity. So ask yourself, what would my future self do? Your current self hesitates. Your future self leaps. Your current self wants to skip the gym. Your future self shows up anyway. Choose like your future depends on it, because it does. Step 3. Start acting for the long term instead of immediate gratification. Success doesn't happen overnight, but failure does, every time you trade your future for comfort today. The most successful people aren't focused on next week. They're focused on the next 5 to 10 years. They build skills that won't pay off immediately. They invest money they won't touch for a decade. Look at your life right now. How many of your actions are driven by the need for instant payoff? Now, imagine what would happen if you stuck with something for another year, another 5 years. That's how you change your life. Step 4. Live like the person who already has what you want. If you wait until you're successful before acting like it, you'll never get there. Confidence, financial stability, and discipline aren't things you magically get. They're things you build by living like you already have them. A financially free person isn't reckless with their money. A successful person doesn't second-guess every decision. A fit person doesn't feel like going to the gym, they just go. Start acting like the version of you that already has what you want. Because the fastest way to become that person is to be that person. Step 5. Eliminate half measures. Stop with the almost committing. You don't need a perfect plan. You need to go all in on the plan you have right now. Half efforts give you half results, and half results keep you stuck. You don't get fit by working out sometimes. You don't build wealth by investing a little when it's convenient. You don't develop discipline by showing up only when you feel like it. Think about it. How many times have you started something but didn't give it 100%? And then wondered why you didn't see results? Stop dipping your toes in the water. Jump in. Step 6. Stop trying to impress others and become impressive to yourself. Trying to impress others is a losing game. No matter what you do, someone will always have more money, more success, more recognition. Real confidence isn't built on external validation. It's built on becoming someone you respect. Think about the people you admire. Not the ones who just look successful, but the ones who are truly in control. They don't chase approval. They don't mean to prove anything. They just are impressive. Instead of trying to impress strangers online, become someone that you would admire. Because when you respect yourself, you stop caring about external validation, and that's when real confidence begins. Step 7. Shift from seeking motivation to building discipline. Motivation is unreliable. It's a mood, not a strategy. The difference between success and failure isn't talent, luck, or intelligence. It's the ability to do hard things even when you don't feel like it. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. If your success depends on feeling inspired, you'll never get anywhere. Successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. Never get anywhere. They show up on bad days. They do the work when it's boring. Because they know discipline is what turns effort into results. Stop waiting for the right moment to start. The right moment is when you decide to act, regardless of how you feel. Step 8. Replace passive consumption with active creation. Scrolling, watching, reading. It's easy to convince yourself that you're learning. But in reality, you're just consuming. Success comes from creating. The people who win don't just take in information. They build businesses, launch ideas, develop skills, make things happen. Ask yourself, are you a spectator or a player? Are you watching other people live the life you want? Or are you creating it for yourself? The best way to learn is by doing. Instead of just reading about success, start taking action. Even if you don't know everything yet, you'll figure it out along the way. Step 9. Stop negotiating with yourself. Every time you negotiate with yourself, you lose. You set an alarm for 6 a.m. It goes off, and instead of getting up, you start bargaining. 5 more minutes. I'll work out later. Today is different. These small negotiations slowly kill your progress. Not through massive failures, but through tiny daily compromises. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and wonder, should I do it today? Maybe I'll feel like it later. No, you just do it. Now imagine treating your goals the same way. No debating, no overthinking, just action. If something is important, stop giving yourself an out. Just show up and do the work. Step 10. Redefine failure as progress. If you avoid failure, you avoid growth. The people who change their lives don't see failure as a stop sign. They see it as proof that they're making moves instead of standing still. Failure isn't the opposite of progress. It is progress. Think about every skill you've ever mastered. You didn't learn to walk without falling. You didn't learn to ride a bike without crashing. Yet, as adults, we act like failure is something to be ashamed of. But the truth? Failing means you're doing something new, and that's the only way to grow. Stop letting fear of failure keep you stuck, because the only real failure is never trying at all. Step 11. Make peace with being misunderstood. If everyone approves of what you're doing, you're not doing anything bold. Changing your life means making choices that won't make sense to others, quitting the safe job, setting boundaries, taking risks. Most people live in a tiny, safe bubble. When they see you stepping outside it, they'll try to pull you back in. But here's the truth. You don't need their permission. Your future isn't their responsibility, it's yours. Step 12. Make decisions that shrink your future regrets. Most people choose what's comfortable now instead of what they'll be proud of later. But regret doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in. When you realize you wasted years in the wrong job. When you see others moving ahead while you stay stuck. The longer you avoid hard decisions, the harder they become. The more you put off action, the more trapped you feel. Not deciding is a decision, and it's usually the wrong one. Step 13. Trade certainty for movement. You will never have all the information. You will never feel fully ready. But success doesn't come from certainty. You will never feel fully ready. But success doesn't come from certainty. It comes from movement. You don't figure things out by thinking about them. You figure them out by doing them. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. That moment will never come. The only way forward is to act and adjust as you go. Step 14. Lower your emotional reactivity to the world. Not everything deserves your energy. Most people stay stuck because they're too busy reacting to drama, to distractions, to criticism. But the more control you give to the outside world, the less control you have over your own life. Successful people don't waste time arguing online. They don't let every little inconvenience ruin their day. They protect their focus. Think about how much energy you've lost reacting to things that didn't matter. Now imagine if all that energy went into your goals. Where would you be right now? Step 15. Let go of the identity that's keeping you stuck. Maybe you believe you're bad with money, undisciplined, not the kind of person who takes risks. But here's the truth. That's just a story you've been telling yourself. And as long as you believe it, you'll keep living it. Your brain looks for proof of what you already believe. It's called confirmation bias. If you want to change your life, start seeing yourself as someone who is capable of more. Because the disciplined, successful version of you, that person already exists. It's just waiting for you to show up. Your life is the sum of your choices. If nothing changes, nothing changes. These 15 steps aren't just things you can do. They are things you must do if you want to break out of the cycle you're in. Most people will watch this and think, that's interesting, and then do nothing. But a few of you will take action. A year from now, your life won't even look the same. The question is, are you one of them? Let me know in the comments. And if this video gave you value, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you next time. Bonus tip: walk away from a good enough life. Most people never build an extraordinary life because they settle for one that's just good enough. Not great, not terrible, just okay. And that's the trap, because comfort is addictive. When something is fine, it's not painful enough to leave, but not fulfilling enough to stay.